This is my beginner garden. Whether you're new to gardening or if you're on the fence about deciding if you want to start a garden or not, my biggest recommendation is just pull the trigger and do it. You don't have to start big, you know? You can do what I did and just start with a bunch of potted plants, just like I did right here. They're very simple, convenient. You don't need a lot of space. Later down the road, if you do want to transition to growing in ground, you can do that. But if you are just want to plant a couple things here and there, get a couple pots, buy some plants, and give it a try. When deciding on what you want to plant, I highly recommend you choose something that you like to eat, so that way it does make the process a lot more enjoyable, because why do you want to plant stuff that you don't eat, right? This video is just for me to share my experience of starting out as a beginner gardener and showing what I've done so far, what I'm currently growing, and just motivate you to get out there and just try gardening yourself, because it can be very rewarding and enjoyable. Now you come over here, I want to show you some of the first plants that I've got. So the first plant I want to talk about are gingers. Surprisingly, I actually grew this from buying store-bought ginger. A lot of couple tips out there says that you should rinse the ginger roots for 24 hours before planting them and put them in the pot. But I actually just cut them up into small little pieces, threw them in the pot, and here they are, they're growing. So they have a lot of health benefits to them. I want to test it out and see how it is. But it seems to be growing pretty well. I really thoroughly enjoy growing them. Now the next two I want to talk about would be mint and basil. The reason why I chose to grow this is they're actually very, very fantastic at repelling mosquitoes. Ever since I started growing these things, I haven't had mosquitoes in my backyard for the longest time. The smell is really powerful, which repels all the mosquitoes. And when you eat them, you can actually change your body scent over time, so that way mosquitoes don't bite you either. Next on the list is tomatoes. Funny story, this is actually the very first plant I ever bought when I started my garden. When I first started out, I tried to figure out what was the easiest thing to grow, and everything online said tomatoes, so I bought a tomato plant. After it gave me its first fruit, it started to struggle really hard, but then I trimmed off all the dead branches on them, and then now it's starting to come back alive. Now you can see that there is flowering going on right here. This third one right here is basically dead, but two of them is coming back to life, which is kind of exciting. It's kind of fun. Now heading on over here, this is my citrus plant. This is a lemon plant, to be exact. These things are easy to grow from what I hear. You can already see there's actually a couple. Well, never mind. I have one lemon growing back here. I guess I probably shouldn't have done that. But you can use the leaves. They smell very refreshing. You can actually freeze them, put them in the freezer, and then you can mix them up with some salt and pepper and make a dipping sauce out of it. I heard citrus plants survive very, very well indoors or outdoors, depending on your weather. So later on, if you do want to grow a citrus plant, you want to decide if you want to grow it indoors or outdoors. You can put it in a terracotta pot or a regular plastic pot. They do grow pretty big, so you do want to trim them depending on your style of how you want it to look. You can either make it grow upwards or you can make it grow in a bush style. So you can trim it based on how you want to grow and how you want to look for the aesthetics. So next, I am growing some bell peppers right here and 3 Asian pepper plants. I eat a lot of pepper, so I figured why not? Bell pepper are pretty healthy, I would say. They're pretty easy to grow. All I do is just put fertilizer, water it every couple days, and it is growing. I think at the moment right now there are a couple bell peppers growing in there. I have one pretty big one right here, which is pretty awesome. Now this bigger plant you see right here in the middle, this is a ever-bearing mulberry tree. They grow to be about 10 to 12 feet tall. When I was a kid, I loved eating mulberries, so I figured why not plant one? Once it does start fruiting, I hear that it fruits all the time, and can't wait to walk into my backyard and just pick some berries and eat whenever I want to. The next thing I'm growing is cherry tomatoes. I have 1, 2, 3 cherry tomato plants that I'm actually growing at the moment. Before I was growing it inside the greenhouse, and it wasn't actually fruiting very much. Turns out cherry tomatoes need a lot of wind, so that way it can help it self-pollinate, so that way it can help with the fruiting. So I decided to take it out here, and hopefully that will improve the fruiting, and that way I can have some cherry tomatoes to eat. Now down here in this pot right in here are cabbages actually. Now I don't recommend doing what I did. I just threw a bunch of seed in there, let a bunch of them germinate, and then that way eventually, once it does get big enough, I will separate them out into different little pots, so that way it can grow into its cabbage heads. But it does take a little bit more work. I heard cabbages are great and easy to grow. They withstand the cold temperature very, very well, so you can grow over the winter time and everything. But cabbages are healthy. You can make a lot of great soups out of them. Now, when you look over here, I'm pretty sure you already know what this is. This is a green onion. They grow like weed. I kid you not. I will harvest them probably every single week. I bought them from the store. I cut the heads off and then I just throw them in the pot and put some water, and they grow non-stop over and over and over. So you can literally have unlimited green onion. Now, aside from stuff that I can eat, I do plant a couple of perennials. These are flowers that will come back every single year, over and over and over. I have speedwell right here. I have sage, and I have coneflowers. Now, the reason why I got this is because they're great at repelling deers, mosquitoes, and they do attract a lot of bees. You can see right here, there's a honeybee right here. It does help pollinate your plants, and it just brings a little bit more life into your garden. And they are really pretty and easy to grow. They come back every single year. Now, the last plant on the list is my cucumber plant. This is probably my favorite plant. They are so easy to grow. They fruit a lot. I think there's probably over 10 cucumbers in here that's already grown. I have one really, really odd looking one right here. But the one back here is actually grown very nicely. Now, they do require a lot of watering, which should be done probably every other day, which helps it grow a lot faster. By showing the flowers that I have earlier, the bees actually come and pollinate this thing for me. So I hope you enjoy seeing what I currently plant as a beginner gardener and everything. This is just to show you that you can start with a very small space and then expand bigger later on. Down the road, I do plan on expanding out and maybe using some more of my backyard to start in-ground gardening. And if you follow me on that journey, please leave a like, subscribe, and that way you can see the expansion of my backyard and what else we can grow together.